Hi, I'm Kara Summer of Lady Fox Stitches. I'm a long arm quilter located in northern Nevada. Today, I want to share with you some of the quilts that have come off my long arm machine recently, and I want to show you some of the quilting projects I've been working and making progress on. Let's get started. Okay, first up, we have this beautiful quilt made by Sharon, who is my mom. It's called Math Class. Let's see, do I have that? Right, I have it sideways, I think. Like this. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is called Math Class. It's a pattern by Missouri Star Quilt Company. There are tutorials about this, or there is a tutorial about this from Missouri Star on YouTube. I think it's Natalie that does it. My mom's quilt was made using Denim and Daisies fabric. It's these beautiful blue and oranges. They're really, really pretty. Little florals and things. And then it goes from kind of these dark colors up here down, it gradiates down to these really light ones down at the bottom. So it's really pretty. Isn't that nice? Okay, so Denim and Daisies on are the plus and minuses, and then it's just a white background fabric that she chose to use. On the back, she found these fabrics. Let's see, I'll show you both of them. There's this light white one with the background, and then this kind of creamy orange sickle color. She put a stripe right down the middle. And these are art gallery fabrics. So to touch it, it's like nice and smooth and cool to the touch. Art gallery fabrics are so nice for that. So that's what's on the back. We went with a bamboo batting from Quilter's Dream, and that helps with the lightweightness and the drape of this quilt. It's a pretty decent size. It's really large. It's like 79 by 85. So yeah, it's a decent sized quilt to maneuver. And that bamboo batting with that art gallery fabric on the back really softens it and makes it great. It will be perfect for a summertime quilt, like to put on a bed or something. So it's just really lovely. So let me share with you the pantograph and the thread we chose. So if you look closely, can you see that? This pantograph is called Fizz, and it was designed by Jess Ziegler of the Long Arm League. And here's a funny story with it. So I'm doing this quilt. I'm thinking about math, obviously, because it's pluses and minuses, which I think is pretty funny. And then I think about my son, who just graduated from college with his engineering degree, and he took so many math classes. And I know, this is how my brain works, and I know with all those math classes, it wasn't just math, but it was also like physics and stuff. There's just so much math in engineering. And so I was thinking about physics, and then my brain went to like sound waves and light waves. And so when I was flipping through the book of pantographs I have, this particular one with these like hills and valleys kind of braided together that go across the width of the quilt, I just thought it reminds me so much of like sound waves bouncing around. So I thought, oh, there we go. So math to engineering to physics to sound waves. And here we are with this pantograph. So it's stitched out from, side to side width-wise with these beautiful hills and valleys. And so I think it just creates a lot of good movement across the quilt, along with the fabric placement where it's dark to light from corner to corner and then top to bottom. So I think it was a great little match. Not overly quilted, but just plenty of quilting in there. I used a white glide thread on top and bottom, and it was perfect because of the white background on this quilt. So it blends in just great. She's gonna love it when she sees it. So there's that awesome quilt. Okay, our next quilt that I want to show you is this one. This is also made by Sharon. You guys, this one is so awesome. They're all awesome. I love every quilt, right? Okay, so this quilt, check that out. This is called Spring Hare, and it's a free pattern by Tilda. And of course, this quilt is made with Tilda fabrics. You guys, look at those. Look at those fabrics. They're so dang pretty. They have that old-fashioned feel and look to them. They're just really adorable. So this quilt is made with alternating blocks of bunnies and like posies. So it's really cute. The background is this green. It's like a super spring green color. It's really so pretty. So that's really nice, right? And all those different bunnies. So let me tell you about this. Like I said, it's a free pattern on the Tilda website. And it has, pick up my stuff I dropped. It has lots of little pieces and all, but it's totally so cute. And the little eyes on the bunny, like she put these little French knots right here to give them little eyes. And we just quilted around them, over them, however. So that was not a problem on the long arm. The thread I chose is called, it's a glide thread, and it's called Mint Julep. So it's a minty green, and it blends in perfectly with this background. And even on the bunnies, like it just blends in really nicely. And of course on the backing fabric, you can't really even see it. It's such a busy backing that you don't see the thread at all. It's really great. The backing is directional. So my mom's really good about labeling the quilts she sends me, the tops and the backings with painter's tape, and she'll put like top on the fronts, quilt tops, and the backings, so that I know how to orient them together. And that's just really helpful. So if you are sending quilts out to a long armor, you might think about labeling things really clearly. She just uses little painter's tape and sticks it on there. The batting we chose, this is 100% Cotton Select, and that's a quilter's dream. It's their mid loft. So I think it's perfect. If she washes this quilt up, and it's going to take multiple washings, okay? So if she uses this and washes it over and over, it's going to turn all crinkly, cottony, kind of like those, a lot of older quilts start to get crinkly, and this one I think will do that as she washes it and uses it, and it will just have that really nice old-fashioned vintage style, I think, once it's washed and stuff. But if not, it'll look perfect like this. The quilting on it is easy to see. I think there's a lot of negative space, and so you can see the quilting on that. The pantograph is one by Barbie Mills of the Quilting Mill, and this one is called Skipper. So let me hold it up there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's leaves and swirls and feathers that are kind of echoed, and then there's some pearls in there too. And we did fairly dense, not overly, but there's plenty of quilting across this because of all that negative space, and it just looks really, really pretty with that mint julep thread in there. So this is just a lovely quilt. It finished at about 55 by 69, so it's not a giant quilt, but it'll make a great wall hanging or throw or something like that. So that's really fun. So there's that. Okay, next up, we have something that I talked about last week. I want to show you. So I had shared with you the Oxbow Tote pattern that I wanted to make. I had gotten a kit from QuiltCon and I was determined to get it made. And let me show you. I did, you guys. I got it all made. Isn't that cute? Look at this. It's got this waxed canvas outer pocket that's nice and deep, plenty big there. And then it has the waxed canvas on the bottom. It's really nice and stable. I quilted up just with like straight line quilting the main fabric for the body of the bag. And I just did like diamonds or squares or however you want to. I just kind of angled it and just went for it. I quilted it up on my Juki straight stitch machine, and it just, I sewed the whole thing on that machine, and it was a dream to work with. I put some of the soft and stable like batting or interfacing, whatever you want to call that, in to the main panels of the bag, so it has this nice stiffness. You guys, this bag is like real deal. It's something you could pick up at Target or TJ Maxx or something. Like, it's like a real legit overnight big bag. It looks so legit. We're not talking, you know, let me make some grocery bag out of my scraps to take with me to the grocery store kind of bag. This is like real deal. It's got the hardware for the strapping and all that. Nice long zipper. It's metal toothed. The inside, you guys, this gingham is so cute. And there's a pocket in there that I divided up. So it basically has two pockets on the inside, and then just this nice big opening. It's going to be a great overnight bag to travel with, you know, carry on, that kind of thing. Super sturdy, just really awesome and so pretty to look at. So as I was making it, the pattern it's called Oxbow Tote, and it's by Noodlehead. And it was a great pattern. I just followed step by step throughout the whole thing and was able to easily do it. I didn't know how long it would take me. I didn't know what to expect, how difficult, how thick it would get, you know, some of the seams and stuff. It was totally doable. I felt like I was in control of all my seams and the seam allowances and all the thicknesses. I never felt like it was too much or anything. So it was a great pattern. I'm totally going to make it again. When I finished up, I was like, yes, I want this, but I want it in the smaller size as well. This one's really big. I'm not going to be able to use this like every day. I don't have a need for it every day, but for sure when I travel. But I am a seminary teacher, which means I go to a Bible study class just about every school day with teenagers in my area, and I take books and stuff. I take my scriptures, you know, with me to this class, and I like to have a big bag that's strong and that can carry the weight of these books and things and my notebooks and all the things I need. And I think the smaller or the regular size that comes with the pattern will be perfect for that. So I'm definitely in the market for some more canvas, zippers, hardware, webbing, all of that. I'm definitely in the market to make another one just in a smaller size. And I can't wait. That'll be fun. I do have a story. Like I said, I was following this pattern. I was being very careful because it had sizes for both the regular and the oversized, you know, as you were cutting it, and you had to make sure you were looking at the right numbers. And I was being so careful. And there is a saying that goes, you all know it, measure twice, cut once. And I should have paid better attention. I thought I was, but I measured out my webbing to cut for the two handles on each side, and I measured it out, and I cut, and then I measured the next one, and I cut, and then I double checked the pattern after I had cut, and I realized that I had used the numbers, the length for the regular size tote, and so I had cut it too short, about 3 inches, and of course I didn't have enough webbing to recut. And so I just had to make do with what I had. And so technically these handles are 3 inches shorter than they should have been. They're gonna work. As you can see, I can hang on to the handle just fine. It'll be fine, but it is wrong. And it would have been better with the 3 extra inches. So when I make it next time, I'm going to do it correctly and we won't have to worry about that. But it's so great. This is a great pattern. I highly recommend it. Really fun to make. So there's that. Okay. Also, in last week's video, I talked about the chicken quilt. So here's the pattern, right? Chickens. This is by Cluck, like I said before. And my fabrics that I had were Little House cotton fabrics. I had seen this quilt made and I wanted it just like the one I had seen. And so I make sure I got the fabrics for it and all. And you guys, it's so cute. So I worked on it. It took a while to cut. That was probably the hardest part, is because there was just a lot of little pieces that needed to be cut. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like torture or anything, but there were a lot of pieces to cut, which took me a while. And then once it was cut, I was able to chain piece it pretty quickly. There are 16 blocks total. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cute? 16 blocks total, 8 with the chicken that has the feet, and 8 with the chicken sitting on the nest. So there's that. And I just chain pieced them, one right after the other, and got that done. Then put the sashings on, and it was done. So it's not a super big quilt. It's just a square one with 16 blocks. But these fabrics, you guys, they're just the sweetest little thing. So this is going to go next on my long arm. We'll get that quilted up. Haven't decided yet what pantograph, but we'll work on that. So that's next. The fun thing about this is that I also had the backing fabric. I picked it up when I got all the fabric because I wanted it to match. And look at this. This is the backing. It's the red. It's kind of an orangey red, but you guys, it's the little like chicken yard. It has little chicks and ducks and mushrooms and flowers and little like hen houses or little chicken coops all scattered along there, different kinds. It's really cute. So that's going to make a great backing. I've got that all pieced and seamed and ready to go right on the long arm. So that'll be very next. Really cute. Okay, so that's the chicken quilt. Okay, next up is a quilt that I made several months ago, and it's called the Ocean Breeze Quilt. It's a pattern by Sewing 101. They're located in Orange County, California. And I saw this quilt, again, in person. It's so funny how a made quilt you see in a store somewhere will sell you, right? Like, you see it, you know you want it, you make it, it's the best. So that's what happened with this quilt. Check this out. So this was finished, this top was finished several months ago. Look at that, you guys. It has this most amazing illusion, right? This kind of circular, round look. But there's no curves in this quilt at all. It's made up of 4 patches and half square triangles and triangles in a square. So there's no curved pieces at all. It's just the way you put those different angles together, the different units that create that rounded look. And you guys, these are Tilda fabrics too. Red and blue Tilda fabrics. They are to die for. Isn't this going to be so cute for Memorial Day, summertime, 4th of July, anything like that? I think it's so pretty. Yeah, it's really a great, fun pattern. It was really fun and not hard to put together. So there's that. But I wanted to say, I haven't quilted it yet because I was in the market for Tilda fabric for the backing. And as you probably well know, Tilda fabrics are a little more expensive. And I was thinking, well, if I come across the Tilda with maybe a blue floral, I'll put that on the back. That's what I was going for and thinking about. And then I just got thinking, it's maybe a little more than I want to spend for a backing. I don't mind paying a little extra for the Tilda fabrics in a fat quarter or something like that because I really love them. And I am collecting Tilda fabrics from all different of their, many of their lines. I'm collecting them and I'm going to make something really fabulous with them. I haven't decided yet what, but anyway, I just decided maybe I wouldn't I don't want to buy that much yardage at one time at that cost. So I was kind of carrying around this quilt. Every time I'd go to a quilt shop, I would carry it around, take it with me, and try to match something to it. And I was not having much luck with that until one day I was in Reno and I went to a fabric store up there and they had something that when I found, I said, I think that's going to fit the bill. So I pulled out this quilt and I think it matches really nicely. Let me show you. So this is what I picked up. It's a plaid, a red, blue, and cream plaid. And it's like the same kind of tones as the Tilda fabric. So I thought, oh, that'll work perfect. And of course, it was much less expensive. So I was able to get enough for the backing for this quilt. I have not pieced it yet together. I plan on matching the plaids on this. I haven't laid it out or anything to see how that's going to go, but I'm going to try to match the plaids so it's so it looks seamless. So that's one of my goals with this. But I was excited to find a nice fabric that I think will look really, really great on the back of this fun quilt that I've been in love with since I made it. And actually since I saw it, right? It's a great pattern. The tool I had to use, or that the pattern called for, is called the Tri-Rex tool. And this is a tool, it's made by Easy Quilting. It's got, so it goes up to a 6.5-inch piece. And it's the triangle piece with the corner, or like rectangle, diagonal, I don't know what you call those, like triangle rectangles. Does that make sense? Anyway, so it's got the markings to make the pieces for the triangle in a square. And I just thought I would show you what that looks like. And I have some samples here. This is so fun. Okay, so it cuts out the triangle piece like this. So I was able to do that. And then this piece, let me show you. Let me just lay these out real quick. This one cuts the rectangle piece that goes to the side. Okay, so you cut two at a time like this, right? Like that. Okay, and I don't know if you can even see it. So when you sew them together, they go like this. And they make a triangle in a square. Okay, here's the thing. I was making all of them, chain piecing them for this quilt. They were all cut out and ready to go. And I went to sew them all, and I did. I sewed all of one side, but guess what? I sewed them like this. I don't know what I was thinking, because I sewed all million of them like this. And so then when I pressed it, I went to press the very first one, and it makes this, it was like this funny little shape. It was not square. And so I decided it was too late for sewing for me anymore that night, and so I put it all away, and the next day I had to come along and unpick every single one of these seams because, yeah, I had done them wrong. And so I highly recommend you sew one, check it, and make sure it's correct before you sew them all. So definitely check. That way you don't have to unpick 5 million. And so they're supposed to come out nice and square like that. You know, something like that. So, and that's one of the units in that quilt, and it worked brilliantly, and it wasn't hard, especially with this tool. I got them cut really quickly and easily and efficiently, so that was pretty great. All right, the next thing I want to share is that Fat Quarter Shop has declared that May 10th, this coming Saturday, is Jolly Bar Day. Jolly Bars are a pre-cut, and they are exclusive to the Fat Quarter Shop. They are pre-cuts that are in 5 by 10 inch. I mean, this is the size. It's 5 inches wide, 10 inches long. So it's like half of a layer cake. And I had last November or something, when there were some things on sale, I picked up 2 Jolly Bars, and they were Jolly Bars. The fabric is Antoinette by French General. It's really pretty. It's these kind of dusty blues, faded reds. There's some pearl, some grays. They're florals, botanicals. Got little birds, butterflies, those kinds of things. They're really, really pretty fabrics. And I picked up 2 of them on sale, and I've just been sitting on them. I haven't done anything with them. So when I discovered about Fat Quarters Shop's Jelly Bar Day, I decided I would go ahead and do something for that day since I had these Jelly Bars. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to make the pattern that came with them. So this is the pattern that came with the Jolly Bar that I bought, and it is called Parisian. And it's just a simple pattern. I mean, it looks simple. It's 4 patches and half square triangles arranged really lovely. And so I went and I picked up a background fabric. It's a kind of it's a distressed brown. I think it coordinates really well with the line. So it's a darker background. I usually do lighter ones, but this time we're going for a little bit darker. And that's my plan for Saturday, is to put together a Jolly Bar quilt top. So I've got some of them cut and ready to go, working on that. I decided to extend the pattern, the existing pattern. Because I have 2 Jolly Bars, I can make more blocks. And so I'm just going to make it bigger, probably by a column and a row, at least. 1 column and 1 row larger than what's the pattern calls for. And we'll see where that takes us. So that's my plan for that. That's coming up. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you is another pattern I want to make. So this is called Sunny Days. It's a 2-color quilt, and the pattern is by Lamb Farm Designs. I saw this quilt in person at QuiltCon, and so I picked up the pattern. I really, really liked it. It's just a cheerful, happy quilt. 2-color, which I love 2-color quilts. I don't have very many of them. I've made 3 or 4 maybe, but you know, I want to add a yellow one to my quilts. And so I did pick up some yellow quilting cotton, and I have some background. So I've got to get that starched and cut. And so I can get that going. So that's another one of my goals, is to get going on that for this coming week. So I think that's all the projects that I've got in the works. But I thought I would share with you one of my favorite notions right now. So I have them right here. This is called, like, I don't know if you can see that. It's a magic clip, and it's made by Taylor Seville. Taylor Seville, yeah, that's the brand. They're magic clips. This is the size small. They make a mini and an extra small. The minis, okay, so the extra small are the same thing, only just a little bit less deep. So this metal part that sticks out is a little bit smaller. The difference between the extra small and the mini is the width of this metal piece. So it's skinnier. So there's that. But these magic clips are so awesome because they're super strong. They have a really strong spring in them. And they are perfect for putting, like, holding your binding down while you're working on it, either sewing on them by machine or by hand. They don't fall off. I have problems with my Wonder Clips, like falling off as I'm working with them. And the difference between them really, though, is the profile. So these magic clips are ultra thin. They're just like a piece of metal, right? And the Wonder Clips really pop up right here. And you can't get them close to your needle. These, if you put on your binding, you can sew right next to them under your presser foot. Like, they can slide under your presser foot and you won't hit your needle on them, as long as they're not sticking out. But they'll go right under and you don't have to remove them. These you have to pull off before they go under your needle. So I really, really love the Wonder Clips. So I'll put a link in the description so you can go look at them and check them out. They make, like I said, these are the small, they make the mini and the extra small, and then they have one that it's titled big, and I think it just is longer. It's at least another 1/8 inch longer on that front metal part. But guys, these springs are so nice and strong, which if you have a problem with having strength in your hands, might be a problem. It does take some oomph, you know, to open them and close them, but that's what I like about them. So that's a really great, super duper awesome notion for you to look into. Okay, so I think that's about all I have for you today. So tell me what you've been working on in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you've got in the works. And make sure you follow me on my social media places. I've got Instagram and Facebook and so that's Lovely Lady Fox. No, Lady Fox Stitches is my Instagram and Facebook. And then of course there's my website, which is ladyfoxstitches.com, and that's where you'll go if you're interested in long arm quilting services. You can read about all the things there, find out the different services I offer, so make sure you go check that out. So that's a good place to go for that. Okay, the last thing would be to like and subscribe my video. That will help me get seen in the YouTube world. So that will help me a lot. I'm so glad you were here with me today in my quilting studio. I appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. Guys, keep making all those quilty things, and I'll see you real soon.